Hampshire Police, what's your emergency?
What did I connect to multiple requests for police and ambulance?
Yeah, we think someone's been stabbed.
As soon as I joined the job, I realised I wanted to be a detective. I wanted to be investigating the serious crime.
It's a career option in policing that opens doors.
If you enjoy the twists and turns of a case, working things out, finding different inquiries and taking it all the way to court, getting that justice for the victim, then it's definitely the right job for you.
Being a detective, you follow a case from start to finish. You start at the scene.
So when I arrive at a scene, I have to see what I can visibly see around me, what's obvious, but also what I can't see. So I need to be mindful of the digital evidence, forensic evidence, potential CCTV evidence, and just try and consider the environment that I'm in. What I love about being a detective is the initial throes of a job, the adrenaline and the challenges and the logistics and thought processes that you have to apply.
When a major case comes in to the CID floor, there's a really big buzz. Everyone sort of stops what they're doing on their cases, pulls together, everyone works as a team. You've got outside inquiries, inside inquiries, and you're working to that 24-hour pace clock. So there's a real buzz around the office and everyone is after that end result of a charge.
Running a major investigation is a career highlight for any detective, but it's not without pressure. So you feel a weight of responsibility for victims and their families.
Our team would assist in wanted persons, people who've committed very serious crimes who are still outstanding. We would help sometimes with very high-risk missing people, sometimes kidnaps as well, whereby we can bring a lot of teams together very quickly to be able to try and resolve the situation and find who is wanted for whatever reason. It's electric. We have a lot of work to do, but when you get that positive identity on them and you're moving the teams in for the strike, absolutely electric.
Being a detective, you follow a case from start to finish. You start at the scene where you are scouring for evidence, viewing CCTV, looking at phone downloads, comparing forensic results, building rapport with victims, getting statements from them, interviewing suspects.
I find interviewing suspects very satisfying. It puts you at the centre of an investigation and gives you the opportunity to explore and unfold what may have happened. The child abuse teams are a fascinating area of work. We're dealing with people at their most vulnerable, whether that's the young people that are the victims of abuse, but also, strangely, the parents may also be very vulnerable themselves. So often we take a compassionate thinking approach to the work we do. It's very important to me that young people and children have a voice and are heard.
Family liaison is an important job because you are going into a family at the hardest, probably the toughest time of their lives, and you're going in as a support, but most importantly you're going in as an investigator, so you're trying to get as much evidence in those first few hours as you can, as well as supporting the family. It is one of the most challenging roles that I've had, but it's definitely the most rewarding one. I think I wanted to become a detective from when I was on response, and I can remember asking my tutor, so what happens next? And she'd say, oh, I don't know, and I knew the only way to do that would be to become a detective and then get the case all the way to court and deal with all of those serious jobs.
I always wanted to be a detective, I think from pretty early on, just because that you get to dig a little bit deeper into something, you get to pick apart what's happened, work as a team, everybody has different roles to get to those answers. So I work on Amberstone, which is a specialist rape investigation team. So there's lots of work going on nationally to improve the way that we investigate these rape investigations. So actually to be part of that, to see how we are changing nationally and to improve things for victims and to better be sort of suspect focused is a really exciting place to be.
For me, the best thing about being a detective is the challenge of an investigation. and having to take all the multiple different pieces of evidence and fit them together, having to use forensic evidence, digital evidence to try and create a product, ultimately to prove that someone has committed an offence.
So court for any senior investigating officer is a real experience. You have a chance to have all of the decisions that you've made during the course of the investigation tested quite publicly in a court setting by teams of barristers. But when those decisions play out and the evidence plays out well in court, it's a feeling like nothing else because you're justified around the things that you and your team did at the time.
When a jury comes back with a guilty verdict, the first thing I feel is relief because it's over. Court is tough and it's a real achievement to have gotten there in the first place. So to get a guilty verdict, immediately I feel relief. And then I feel elation for getting the result that I wanted for my victims.
To know that you've got the justice for that victim or that victim's family is such a special feeling.
When we heard, I was devastated. I didn't know which way to turn. The detectives were fantastic. They helped us with everything we needed to know. One of the detectives, the look on his face was so sincere when he spoke to us about wanting justice. It made us feel very settled. When the verdict came in, immediately I air punched. The justice was done. There was no words needed, just the thanks given to everyone that had helped do it.
So if anyone wanted to be a detective, I would absolutely encourage it. There's no other role like it where you all work as a team, all play your part, get into the detail of an investigation and get better outcomes for victims.
Being a detective offers you so many challenges, so many rewards, that I don't think you can parallel that. And having worked in all areas of policing, being a detective is the best challenge and most rewarding.
From the outset of my career, I've always been passionate about being a detective, and 10 years later, I still am. It's probably one of the most challenging and difficult but rewarding roles in policing.
I would say that being a detective for me has been the icing on the cake of my policing career, and as a detective sergeant on major crime, it's like the cherry on the top because you get to investigate the most serious of crimes, and the results that you get and the adrenaline that you get along the way make it all worthwhile.
It's a job where you really feel a sense of responsibility for the victim, and also the amount of trust that the organisation and our victims place in OICs to investigate crime is a great responsibility and one that brings a lot of satisfaction.
Even after 27 years of policing, I still look forward to coming into work, and that's because of the satisfaction I get from the work I do, but also crucially because of the team and the teams that I work in.
It's a lot of hard work. You need to put in a lot of hours, but if you enjoy the twists and turns of a case, working things out, finding different inquiries and taking it all the way to court, getting that justice for the victim, then it's definitely the right job for you.